Rate cuts are supposedly needed to prop up the American labor market and $1 million starter homes. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by Reuters and written by Ann Safir titled, "Fed's Daily Says Rate Cuts Needed to Keep Labor Market Healthy." The author of this article referenced the San Francisco Fed President, Mary Daly, as saying the Federal Reserve needs to cut interest rates to keep the labor market healthy, but it is now down to incoming economic data to determine how much. Here are my thoughts. When I read this, I thought to myself, it is pretty messed up that the Fed needs to intervene to keep the labor market healthy. If the labor market in America can only function in a low-rate environment, we may have some problems. I personally don't think interest rates are high right now. I consider this to be more normal. In my opinion, the Fed kept rates artificially low for far too long. There are plenty of people out there who believe they blew multiple asset bubbles in doing so. Lower interest rates helped speculators, but they disincentivized savers. If we still manufactured the same number of goods as we did back in the 1950s and 1960s in America, we might be able to have a strong labor market without low interest rates. People from around the world could buy what we manufacture, especially if we built quality products for a competitive price. Unfortunately, I don't see us ever going back to that. Many businesses prefer just to have their products manufactured in China with cheap labor and then reap the financial rewards. There were no comments beneath this article, which I found to be really interesting. I guess a lot of people must agree with Mary Daly that the Fed needs to cut interest rates to keep the labor market healthy. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. This next article provides some more information regarding a possible rate cut. I read this on Yahoo Finance, put out by CNN, and written by Alicia Wallace, titled, "Friday's Jobs Report Will Likely Determine the Size of the Fed's Rate Cut." According to the author, the U.S. economy appears to be on a knife's edge, and Friday's jobs report will be the deciding factor as to the next direction. The author went on to say, the August jobs report is expected to provide some much-needed clarity as to whether the labor market is slowing gracefully or spiraling quickly, as was indicated by the recent week's bleak batch of employment data. I'm going to ask all of you a question. How can anyone put faith in Friday's jobs report data after the massive downward revision that we just recently heard about? Who's to say Friday's data is going to be accurate at all? Who's to say the data isn't being released to paint a particular type of picture that prompts the Fed to cut rates aggressively before the election? I'm not implying anything here. I'm just asking you these questions. You can answer them in the comment section below if you'd like. I read some of the comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. The first commenter said, "Don't cut the rates, raise them." The next commenter said, "We need to start rewarding savers and not spenders." Another person said, "The Fed should never make a decision based on a single monthly report. The Dems keep saying the economy is great. If so, then the Fed should do nothing or raise rates." The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, "It's low-level minimum wage jobs being created. The middle class is broke. The low earner class is broke. It's all lies and a prop." Well, my friends, the commenters always have some interesting things to say. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. All of the Fed manipulation in the last decade and a half has had consequences. This next article provides a perfect example in my opinion. I read this on Yahoo Finance, put out by MoneyWise, and written by Lou Carlazzo, titled, $1 million homes are now the entry point for some U.S. markets. Is it time to consider alternative housing options? According to the author, $1 million is often where homeownership begins. This price point has reached nearly 8.5% of properties. This is according to Redfin data provided to the Wall Street Journal. Well, my friends, this is probably pretty depressing to a lot of Americans depending on where they live. Some may never earn the income to qualify for a home in this price range. Even for people who barely qualify, they then have to worry about property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs for the home. Before you know it, some people are working just to afford their home with little discretionary income left over. This is how some Americans become house poor. Some skip maintenance and small problems become big problems over time. There are some people who can barely qualify for the home. Once they move in, they have very little money to spend on furniture. A friend of mine told me he visited a McMansion where a single guy lived. All of that house was empty except for a sofa and television set in the living room. He said it was the weirdest thing ever. What do you think about million-dollar homes being the entry point for many Americans? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I read another interesting article today. This one has nothing to do with the economy or real estate, but I still thought it was interesting. I read this on Yahoo Entertainment, put out by E! News, titled, "Michael Keaton is ditching his stage name for his real name." The author said, Michael Keaton, after 5 decades in show business, wants to use his real name, which is Michael Douglas. Apparently, the Screen Actors Guild doesn't allow 2 members to have the same name. The Wall Street movie actor Michael Douglas already has that name, and so does a talk show host named Mike Douglas. Therefore, Michael Keaton will now be going by Michael Keaton Douglas. Well, my friends, I thought this story was interesting. After a half century in the movie business, I would have thought he'd want to stick with Michael Keaton. I think he's a great actor. I liked him in Batman, and I thought he was great in the series called Dopesick. I wish him well as he goes by his real name. I'll share one more interesting story with you today. This one was on ZeroHedge.com, written by Tyler Durden, likely a pseudonym for writers at Zero Hedge, titled, "Illinois Bans Mini Shampoo Bottles in Hotel Rooms." According to the author, hotels with more than 50 rooms are banned from providing single-use plastic bottles of shampoo, mouthwash, and other toiletries starting July 1st, 2025. They need to transition to refillable containers or face a fine up to $1,500. Here are my thoughts. I'm sure the companies that manufacture these products aren't too happy, especially if similar laws are put into place in other states in our country over time. At least this law doesn't go into effect until July 2025. This gives hotel operators time to use up their current supplies. I have to wonder how hotel guests are going to feel about this. I've been to hotels before that have the large bottles hanging from the wall in the shower to dispense shampoo and conditioner. Maybe I'm a bit OCD, but I prefer sealed bottles that no one has messed with. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.